Hey, it's Ashley the Boot Babe, and we are live today on Western Fashion Behind the Scenes. I have a very special guest, Paige Bosworth. She is from Hermiston, Oregon, and she is the creator of Year of the Cowgirl brand. I'm so excited that you're here, Paige. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
You know what? Hermiston, Oregon is like the desert, high desert plains, right? Tell us a little bit about where you're from so people can get an idea. Because I feel like people think Oregon is the coast.
Yes. And Hermiston, I usually have to explain saying we're right next to Pendleton because everyone, especially rodeo people, know Pendleton Route. So we're about 25 minutes from Pendleton, just a small town. And I grew up here. I've been here since I was born in California, but ever since I was one, I've been here. And my mom's from this area. My whole family is from like the Heppner area. So yeah.
Did you grow up on a ranch?
No, my mom did. Her family had a ranch out on Butter Creek, which is in between Hermiston and Heppner. She grew up with her 5 sisters on a ranch, and it's still in the family, just not in my immediate family. I grew up moving cattle and branding and all that. Some of my best memories are moving cows in the mountains. It was some of the best time.
I love that. I feel like that's part of the reason you created Year of the Cowgirl, right? As I get to know you more, I see that you're very inspired by your mom's legacy. And
Mhm.
now you tell me a little bit about how Year of the Cowgirl came to be a brand that you've been utilizing.
Yeah. So, yes, my mom I say that she passed in 2011, but she was a cowgirl. Like I said, she was born on a ranch with 5 other sisters and they did everything. They had their cousins down the creek that they had their ranch as well. And they were boys and they all ran the hills on their horses bareback and all that good stuff. And then my mom, she trained barrel horses and rode outside horses and helped us all. I had 3 siblings and we were all mounted on awesome horses for junior rodeo. I had a Year of the Cowboy bomber jacket that I had gotten from Rodeo Quincy that my mother in law bought for me. And I love that jacket. And I was wearing it at Roundup and I got lots of compliments on it. I was just thinking a lot because at Roundup, my mom was rodeo or Roundup Princess and Roundup Queen, and my grandma was, and my great aunts were, my sister, my cousins. So lots of cowgirl history there. There's cowboy history in my family there too. But every year at Roundup, I really think about because I feel close to my mom at Roundup. It's very strong history. So I was like, you know what? I need a Year of the Cowgirl jacket as well. So I just started looking online and found zero, nothing, not one thing of Year of the Cowgirl. And I was like, that's crazy. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a sweatshirt for myself. I had this really cozy sweatshirt from Walmart and I was like, I'm going to put it on the back of this. So I had put Year of the Cowgirl on the back and I added fringe to the sleeves. I just basically designed it exactly how I would want it. Then looking more into it, I was like, okay, I can't mass produce this. I work a full time job. I have 2 kids. We're busy. I would love to, but I personally don't know how to sew. I don't have a screen print machine, all of those things. So I had to scale it down a little bit. That's when I started printing. I printed some shirts, some t shirts, some sweatshirts, and then these trucker hats as well. I did both women's sizing and kids. So I've just been selling through my Instagram and just from word of mouth. And it's so fun seeing people wear it like out in the community. Even my son, he came home the other night from setting up for the boosters club and he's, oh mom, I saw someone was wearing a sweatshirt of yours. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Cause my 15-year-old doesn't think I'm really cool. So when he sees that, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, your mom is
But
an
yeah,
entrepreneur. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I love that you have been doing this. So how long have you been doing it? When did you make your first Year of the Cowgirl?
So it's been a year and a half.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
that's really new and fun. What are
Yeah.
your plans? So I can get it from your website right now, is what you're saying. How
Yeah.
do I find you? How do we find you?
So I sell through my Instagram and Facebook. I did some pre-orders. So then I would post and people would just contact me through my Instagram if they want. Right now I have hats on hand. So I think I had close to 150. So I'm set up right now to if people are wanting to buy, I have some on hand, which is nice because I know pre-sale is nice for me, but also it's nice to just see it and be able to buy it right away. I've had things posted on my Instagram. You can always reach out to me through Instagram or Facebook to buy. Maybe I'll get a website. I don't know. It's just, for right now, I enjoy like just the meaning of it and just getting it into people's hands who want it. I have some shirts and kiddo sweatshirts. I do have some t-shirts on hand and plan to make some more this spring.
Give us a little bit of a price range just so that people can be prepared. Because I know that there's a lot of people who
Yeah.
listen to us for gifts, either for someone that they know, someone that they love. This is the
Yes.
perfect gift.
Yes, it is. Hats are going at 30 shipped, and if you're local or can pick up, I'm will be less, which people through the podcast mostly are gonna be shipped. But for my local gals, they don't have to worry about that. But hats are 38 shipped. The shirts, long sleeves run about 32, t-shirts 28. The t-shirt and sweatshirt material are so nice. I have to have like materials that are like soft and nice, good feeling. So when I first printed them and I got lucky because the first one was perfect because I wouldn't have wanted to sell them if it wasn't. I just have to have a nice shirt that just lays on you. Like I personally have to, so I want to sell. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you wanna feel good, right? It's simply about confidence.
yeah,
Make sure you feel confident when you're leaving or whatever
for
you're
sure.
doing in it.
Yeah. And that it washes nice, doesn't hang on you or get tighter.
So I'm curious because some people are going to say, oh, she's not a cowgirl. She doesn't live on a ranch. And this is something you talk about a lot. And I know you're really passionate about. I am from a hunting operation in southeastern
Yeah.
Idaho where we pack into the mountains. Definitely a lost art. And I believe everyone has cowgirl spirit inside of them. Tell me a little bit about how you view a cowgirl and who should be gravitating towards what you have.
Yes, I love this because, yes, I feel very strongly about it. I feel like growing up, we were at Barrel Club every week. We were junior rodeo and I high school rodeoed, I college rodeoed. But then also it stopped at some point because I was a single mom to my son at the time and I needed a career. And that was number one. There were times when I wasn't on the back of the horse. The last 5 years, I haven't had my own horse because it just hasn't been in the cards. I was working night shift. I work at the hospital. I'm a CT and X-ray tech, and night shift and weekends was what I got out of school. So I had a horse at that time and I couldn't go on the weekends. So it's like, you know what? This isn't the time. Sold my horse and was like, I'll get back into it. But the thing that is, I never lost being a cowgirl. I think a lot of people go through this when they get done with college rodeo and they're not going on to pro rodeo. And it's someone asks, do you rodeo or are you a cowboy, a cowgirl? And it's, am I? I'm not doing it right now. So it's, you almost feel like they think you're not because you don't have it. Or you live here and you don't have horses. It doesn't go away. You were raised in that lifestyle. It is with you forever. For the mom that had 4 kids all in a row and just didn't have time to ride. She's not less of a cowgirl than she was 2 years before that when she was on the rodeo trail or on the ranch. Like it's just a way of being raised and it sticks with you forever. Like we need cowgirls in the workforce. We need the nurses, the teachers, all of those. I think it's just a way of life that just never leaves you.
Yeah, I think a lot
Like,
of people right now specifically have a really big draw to trying to figure out how do they become more like a cowgirl. So what would you say the defining characteristics of a cowgirl are?
I would say there's a lot of words for sure that I could put forward, but I would say grit, grace, integrity. Being a hard worker is for sure. I'm not joking. I feel like you can tell when someone's a cowgirl. If you go and get a CT or you have a nurse that's taking care of you in the hospital, there's just something about that. I don't even know how to explain it, but there is something about it. I think that's amazing that people want to get into that or want to be a cowgirl. I've had so many people that have bought hats or shirts for me that they're like, I know I'm not a cowgirl, but I love the cowgirl lifestyle. That is awesome. And they're trying to live their lives in way of the way it was in the Western back then, just trying to get more back to the root. I think a lot of people are trying to get back to the root. After, I hate even saying this, but after COVID, I feel like people were really like, you know what? Let's peel this back a little bit and get back to the core and what we were before. I think that's really good. Sometimes I feel like in the rodeo world, especially, that can be they're posers or they're not even this. And a lot of people are good and they want people to come in, but there are those people that are, yeah, you haven't rodeoed for a while, so you're not a cowgirl. But I think allowing those people in and letting them buy a horse if they want to and start riding. I have a friend turned cousin and she came into our family. She wanted to barrel race and she took it upon herself and she learned and she tried and she was in that awkward stage of not knowing a lot. But you know what? She said, when we have kids, I want to be in the arena with my kids and I want to help them learn. I don't want to have to stand on the ground and be a bystander, like just watching. Like I want to be involved. To me, that was amazing. Like you are a cowgirl and she's done so good. I really think it's something that I honestly feel very privileged that I grew up being on the back of a horse. Not everyone gets that chance. Not everyone just is born and they're on the back of a horse. That's a pretty big privilege. So just to understand that not everyone gets that right when they're born or even in middle school or high school. Sometimes people don't get that opportunity. Once you're an adult and you get to decide on things that you love and enjoy, I want people to try them, not feel intimidated or not feel like they can't because they're not wanted in that circle. I think it's really important for people to know that it's not just where you're born that you have to be exactly what you are from then. You can learn and you can grow.
I
So,
agree. I love what you said because what I hear you saying is the cowgirl way of life is really a stewardship. And it's really something where we have an opportunity. If you're lucky enough to be raised on a horse or around horses, you have a big privilege right now and a big stewardship to be able to allow people to come into this world and let those barriers be softer as a gentle entry for them. I can see that you would love to do a women's retreat where there are a lot of writers and non-writers, first timers and experienced women and really bridge that gap. I love teaching people about homesteading and cooking and Dutch ovens and going out and creating things that they never imagined possible. So I hear you on this level that it
yeah.
doesn't matter where you came from, how you got here. If you love the cowgirl vibe, the cowgirl aesthetic, if you feel drawn to be a cowgirl, this is not about everyone barrel racing or everyone having a horse or everyone being in agriculture or everyone doing whatever it is that you're doing as a cowgirl. What it really is a stewardship opportunity for you to share your legacy with the world in a way that's impactful. I feel like Year of the Cowgirl, this saying, is doing that. I saw Cheyenne Frontier Days, right? They deemed their rodeo Year of the Cowgirl. And this is after you have had this. So this is
Oh,
exciting
yeah.
because I
Yeah.
don't think that it is. I'll go do some research, but I don't think that it would be, what's this called when you trademark it?
Oh,
I'm
yes. Yes.
sure that it would be trademarkable because it's so many words and it's so many broad words. So I think that
Yeah.
it's fun because everyone can use it, right? If you're seeing
Oh,
this
for sure.
video and you're watching YouTube or you're listening to this on the podcast, make sure you use hashtag Year of the Cowgirl and make
Yes.
sure you join that movement. I'm so excited that you're here today. I feel like you're allowing people to see that it doesn't really matter where you're at, you can still be drawn to this. What do you want to tell women that are listening that might feel still a little bit nervous? Okay, I really love it and I'm ready to do it, but I just don't know where to go to fit in. I don't know. Maybe I'm from the city. Maybe I don't have any resources. Where do they start?
I would say just do it. Start wherever. I had a friend who lives in the city in Salem, and she ordered the Year of the Cowgirl shirt. And just, I know I'm not a cowgirl page, but I just love cowgirl. And I'm going to get confident enough to wear this in a few months. And I was like, wear it now. Like, you are awesome. You can totally wear Year of the Cowgirl. I just think just finding confidence in yourself to be who you want to be. Who cares if someone thinks you're not a cowgirl or any of that? It really doesn't matter. What do you want to be? Who do you want to be? And do that because that's really what matters.
And that's the bottom line to me. If you asked me what a cowgirl is, I would tell you confident. I would tell you
Yes.
really confident. She can get out there, she gets on a horse, she rides around, she ropes the cow, she does whatever she needs, or she gets in the car, she goes to the meetings, she goes to the parent teacher conference, she does whatever she needs to take care of things. or she takes care of herself at all costs to feel well, or
Yeah.
these are all ways that you show up and have grit and integrity, perseverance, determination, confidence. These things are what some of the world is missing right now. They didn't have parents that had this. They don't have any mentors. So I feel
Yeah.
like cowgirls are truly mentors for young women and young men to allow them to feel confident and see this. How do we get this hat again? Tell me one more time.
Go to my Instagram. It's Paige Bosworth. Paige Bosworth.
I love
And
this.
yeah, just send me a message and I will be posting these hats for sale as well. They will be there.
Good job on momming. Good job on being a cowgirl. I'm proud of
Oh,
you. It's a big thing. It's a stewardship, and sometimes there's pushback. When you find that people are not doing so many good things sometimes with their mouth, how do you handle that? And how do you take criticism or how do you figure it out? How do you wade through that?
I feel like we get to choose situations we want to be in. Sometimes you can't, but if they're in those situations, you don't need to be in them or you don't need to be around those people. Surround yourself with people who are. But criticism, too, I take as good. I grew up playing sports and it's a good way to learn. I don't think everything should be like, oh, you're the best and you do this. No, I like to grow. I like to get better at things. I do take criticism and I know who I am. So if it's something that doesn't line with what I know I am, I'm like, okay, that's off. But if it's something where I'm like, oh, yeah, I could grow from that or change that, I think it's huge. And I think too, nowadays, it can be a little soft and criticism is almost, oh no, it's mean. I do think we need some of it still. Constructive criticism is how we get better in so many things. And I think just in life in general, it never stops. We can always improve on things. I think criticism is something that we are going to have to deal with forever. It's actually not entirely a bad thing. I think it can be good.
I would say there's an art to taking criticism, and cowgirls have that art. When you're getting screamed at from the cow boss because the cow's going the wrong way, it's not your fault, and it might not even be your horse's fault. It's just what's going on, and you got to fix it. Criticism is interesting when people say, "I don't like the way you do this," or "I think you should do it different," or "I don't appreciate this," or and that's their opinion. And like you said, you
Oh,
wade
for
through that
sure.
with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
You're able to handle that. You're able to say, "Yeah, I'm resilient enough to know that what is coming out of your mouth might be about you." And that's
Yeah.
okay. And I'm also
For
willing
sure.
to take a look at my own life and say, "Hey, I can't wait to grow and expand and change and have fun with people." So that's very
Yeah.
good advice, Miss Paige Bosworth. That's probably
Yes.
gonna be the tagline for the whole thing. It's what makes a cowgirl. And cowgirls are able to take criticism gracefully with an art.
Yeah, for sure.
Lindsay Rosser Sumter, do you know who that is? She
I
was
know of her, like, growing up when Wade was steer wrestling and stuff. I have family that steer wrestle and ride along with him. I remember that, and I remember there's, like, a group of women that I remember that would get all dressed up for the rodeos, NFR, like Tonneberg, which is one of my good friends. I remember her, Lindsay, being one of those people that I'd be like, "Oh, she's" before Instagram influencers and all of that. This has been around a long time. We just didn't have it on Instagram to where you could see it.
Yeah, I totally know. So Lindsay and I have been friends almost 20 years, and we laughed, and
Mhm.
she got on a podcast and talked about the Women's Rodeo Championship Association because she's now the commissioner, and
I was listening. How cool.
it's so cool. So I feel like this goes right along with what she's got going on, and maybe we
Oh,
get her involved and have her wear "You're the Cowgirl" hat because she embodies that to
yes.
me so much,
Oh,
and
she
she's
totally is.
self-determined to persevere and keep those legacies going. I'm so excited that you've been here today, Paige. Thanks for being on.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. You live in Hermiston, Oregon. If someone wants to get a hold of you, they go to your Facebook page, Paige Bosworth, and I will put a link to that in the description. Also, if you're local, you can pick them up from you or she will ship them to your door. Year of the Cowgirl hats, shirts, and all the things. What do you have any shows coming up? Do you do shows at all?
I don't. I have done a few things here and there, but I don't have anything planned right now, but we'll see. I just go with the flow of it and
Okay,
see where it takes me.
this is Ashley on Western Fashion Behind the Scenes. And today we heard from Paige Bosworth. She is a mother, she is a cowgirl, and she knows exactly what being a cowgirl means. Make sure you listen back to this podcast. There's some really good nuggets in here of gold that you can use for the rest of your life. Go get a year of the cowgirl hat. And remember, it's always a good time to wear cowboy boots.